No, Vern Hogarth.
Oh, damn.
Vern Hogarth has millions of books on dynamic figure anatomy, all kinds of stuff. I mean, he's gone down. He has art in the Louvre. He was alive. Most people in the Louvre are dead in Paris, and he was alive. So he would come up with all kinds. You had to draw from his drawings. Now I want you to look at the way we're slowing down. And I'm slowing down our drawing, so I want you to begin to look at the moment that you begin to putting stuff on the page. Don't get frenzy and speed and expedite into a position where you have to rush. But you do want to get the general dynamic of the body down as soon as possible. Because what it does is the freshness and the energy of that design and that placement is where you're going to find the most life in the idea of life drawing or figure drawing. These are somewhat generalizations that you're doing in these short period of times. They're not full-fledged renderings because you'll need an hour or so to get a full rendering of the quality of surface, proportion, and form. So you're generalizing certain aspects of the figure into certain shapes. And these are the shapes that you want to learn to memorize according to anatomical form, or be that it's just shape to design form. And shape to design is where we get into the sight and measuring proportion. This figure here, laid in, height, width, all in one gesture line, coming through. And now that I have this, we're going to talk about this aspect. Lots of curves or straight, working in the round and pulling at lines that give me direction. They tell me where to go. They tell me how I'm going to work at the other side. So once you get to that position, you notice I'm drawing this one a little different than usual. I'm working the whole body in the round. So I'm coming up with a shape, kind of a pillow squish shape. As you see, upper, lower, falling on the pelvis area here. And this shape, working in the round, lets me know that everything from the serratus anterior is going to start falling. And I can start getting myself direction lines. This is a straight, but it's moving. Notice how I'm holding the pencil and moving through the form, finding one point on the other. I'm looking at axis of the shoulder, pulling from there, coming down. This now is giving me a mass form. Now the pelvis has to get in there. So I'm going to make a bowl.
That's kind of
A very aware bowl shape, like this. Being that the pelvis is going to have a dynamic shape like this, being that it's tight at the top, wider this way. I'm sorry, that the overall, yes, pelvis of the shape will have this when you're talking about the mass of flesh and everything around it. But the entire pelvis itself as a skeleton is shaped like that. So this is because you're going to have the hanging of the gluteus maximus and medius off the back, and you have the frontal area of the lower abdominal in the front. So giving you this sort of bag. However, the actual skeletal is shaped this way because you have the greater gratator on the lower widening out, and you have the pubic symphysis in the front pinching here, with the iliac crest here at the top coming through in this manner, creating that butterfly that I call our pelvis makes here. Now with the sacrum sitting in the center of that, you now have this butterfly. However, that butterfly still exists here. That's that iliac crest. It's A right here. Now, working in the round, I'm working this form in the round, so I put that bag kind of shape on there, and I can use this round. Notice this round shape, and I'm pulling now at the thigh, the outer thigh, the rectus femoris muscles. That's what's up here at the top, pulling, coming down, hitting right at the front of the patella for your knee. Now this shape, I'm still working through and around the form. I'm giving myself Notice how I'm pulling now at the muscle group, as we say, the fatty tissue of the body, and I'm coming straight out. This is all working in the round, so it gives me a chance to indicate musculature that's going to happen coming up and through the figure. Right here's the lower abdominal area. Here's the pelvis.
Navel.
Over-exaggerate everything. There's the rib cage coming through here. We're pushing, but I'm still working through and around the form. Straightening out the body. This concept of drawing through these figure shapes that we're developing are giving us a sense of proportion, width, and mass of the body. And notice how the foot is a very clear triangle base that the ankle rocks on. Look at that. That lean. I'm talking a forced lean. This is what I want you to do throughout the body. Look at these forced pushes. Not only a force, but in a very clear angle. They are
Skadoosh.
they are pulled positions. And they are very clear on how one height lowers the other. And you're going to notice when she stands or when he stands, these angles that take place. They come up and there's a shift. A shift in direction. And I'm talking a dominant shift throughout the body. And that's what you're looking at. But I'm working through and around the form. This is, you're over-exaggerating what you're seeing. I want you to get very fluid and at the same time direct. Fluid and then direct. This is the drawing that's going to be applied into your character development. The drawings applied into you building up designs based on environments. This is the drawing that's going to push you to be a better artist. It's not making a pretty picture. It's actually giving you the actual concepts that make not only a believable figure, but what's called a living form. She's alive. She's breathing. He's breathing. He has circulatory systems and all sorts of other things going on through their bodies. Depending on what they drank this morning, one might have had coffee, the other might have had a Tahitian treat.
Fort Loco.
Fort Loco, really.
Yeah.
Y'all know what Tahitian treats are, right?
Yeah.
It's a candy in the form of a drink.
That's right. It's a candy in the form of a drink. And you, woo-wee. Boy, that's one of the most amazing. It blows Jolly Rancher out the water.
No, it's
But if you haven't had Tahitian
everlasting
treat,
gobstopper,
go
bro.
ahead. You're right. It's a candy that's in the form of a drink. Boy.
It's like an everlasting gobstopper.
Where can you find those?
Yes.
Where can you find those?
Find those what? Everlasting gobstoppers?
No.
Oh, Tahitian treat. Where you can find Tahitian treat? Well, I'm not sure. I mean, I know they may have them in your local grocery store, but I mean, I haven't seen one in a while.
Just like
I just
ribbon
know that
candy.
they're like nationwide, but I'm not. Is this your basic grocery store or corner?
Basically, they don't.
Oh, no.
They get soda. Yeah. So notice this.
You drawing Floyd Mayweather?
You just realizing you're right.
That was educated, yes.
Oh.
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah.
You're educated just those that
look.
you have educated.
Now notice the
He's drawing Floyd
the
Mayweather.
drawing in the round up against this fluid and straight. You know, the act of motion that takes place no matter what direction I turn the arm in. I'm purposely tweaking and twisting this arm so you can see the many directions that it could go in. Now here's a hand now going this way, and notice the direction in the arm from that direction. Then notice how it will kick back here. Due to the radius and the ulna, there's a twist. We have rotation, and that's the one thing
That confuses me.
that confuses rotation of the body. Rotation of the body is something that's not spoken upon much when it comes to drawing a figure, But due to the fact that you have the gesture, you have the design, you have the shape, and you have one more. It's called rotation. And that is an aspect of the body that we have to consider, which adds on to what is called the perspective of the body, depending on what direction. Gesture, design, shape, rotation, perspective, and direction. These are very key components when drawing a figure that you're doing to an entire leg. This leg has a particular direction. It's also in a particular rotation.